The Harris-Trump debate was watched by 67 million people. That's a lot more than watched the Biden and Trump debate. But this debate was not about Donald Trump, it was about Kamala Harris. She was giving a handshake to the American public and introducing herself. Trump, on the other hand, well, he's had 4 presidential bids, and this would have been his 7th debate. As we speak, critics and political pundits are analysing every single second of the debate just gone and every micro bead of sweat on Trump and Harris's face. But I wanted to explore a different dimension of that debate, and that dimension is the linguistic side of it. Mark Lieberman, a linguist at the University of Pennsylvania, decided to find out as well and provided some interesting graphs. According to Lieberman, Trump spoke for a total of 42 minutes and Harris spoke for 37 minutes. The reason it's a bit uneven is because, well, firstly, Trump does like to go over the time a little bit, but also Trump interjected somewhat more than Harris, and Trump was forced to spar with the moderators who pulled him up on some infactual statements, mainly immigrants eating cats and dogs. Harris spoke slower at 160 words per minute. Donald Trump spoke at 198 words per minute. Trump was perhaps a little more rattled, he was on the defense more, and as usual, he was just angrier. But that's nothing new. Trump does like to talk, and Trump does get pretty angry. I'll give you an example. So at the Republican National Convention in July, Trump's speech was reportedly set to last for 40 minutes. Instead, he spoke for 92 minutes. That made it the longest nomination acceptance speech at a convention in modern history. Therefore, Trump's talking a lot is nothing new. Lieberman also narrowed down a comparison of distinctive words in a weighted log odds ratio. So a weighted log odds ratio is not a count of the raw words used in a debate, but it is instead an analysis of which words each one used in greater contrast to each other. If certain words are used more individually by a speaker, that word gets a higher point attributed towards the speaker. I'm not a huge fan of weighted log odds ratio. They can sometimes look quite deceptive, but the results are nonetheless still quite interesting. Notice here how Trump's most commonly used word compared to Harris was they. Now, firstly, he was trying to link Harris to Biden. The ghost of Biden was a very big spectre in this debate. It meant that Harris at one point even had to say that she is not Joe Biden, she is Kamala Harris. They wasn't just referring to Harris though, they also referred to other factors like immigrants. But according to the graphic, Trump's use of the word they trumped literally the word she. And the reason I mention the word she is because Kamala Harris used the word Trump and Donald quite frequently, but I went through the transcript of that debate and I could not find a single instance when Trump used the word Kamala or Harris. Instead, he used the words vice president or she or they. But interestingly, very rarely, or at all if I could find, did he mention her by name. This fit into a larger trend on the debate. Trump didn't look at Kamala Harris either. Whenever he was asked questions by her or whenever prompted, he looked straight at the camera. And it seems deliberate. At times it looked like he was going to look at her, but then he forced himself not to. This may have been to avoid the media having pictures of him shouting and pointing, which may have looked bad, a big angry man shouting at a female candidate. Or maybe he just doesn't like her that much. Harris mentioned the word USA 3 times more than Trump did, but Trump usually picks the word country. For example, they're selling our country down the tubes. In another sign of better preparation, Harris got words like tax and work in more than Trump did. She presented good sound bites that will have spoken to swing state voters. It is always hard to objectively say who the winner of a debate is. The right will say their candidate won and the left will say their candidate won. But data like this helps. Then again, data can also be misleading. Mark Lieberman, the same linguist, originally mocked Trump for using the word I at the Republican convention, suggesting that Trump was self-obsessed. But then at the Democrat convention, Harris went on to use the word I even more than Trump did. In terms of objectively deciding who a winner of a debate is, sometimes it's just futile. In 2016, Hillary Clinton was deemed by the media to be the winner of the debates. She lost the election. Data helps us to understand the nitty-gritty stuff of a debate, but ultimately it's the election results that really matter. Swing states, polls, and electoral college. That's more data to think about.